Randy said something earlier where I wanted you to elaborate, but you were already speaking about your history, so I didn't want to interrupt you. But you said something about um, people you don't see yourself. You're the only person in the room who doesn't see yourself,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So applicable to what we're talking about now, where like you don't see yourself many times. People discount themselves, and you count yourself out of things that you should totally just be counting yourself into. You know,
Absolutely.
give
Another.
yourself the benefit of the doubt.
Yep. Another good example of that was actually the night of the MC challenge. Here I am, you know, excelling and doing well, right? And competing with cats that do this, you know, regular. Osiris had won what 3 times already by the time I met him on stage. He already was by
Who could you? My fault. Sorry to interrupt you, but you want to
no,
tell us who else participated in those
in the,
challenges that you did, like the
yeah,
challenge by challenge.
yeah, there was so the first one was it was my man Big Red, who's super dope. It was this cat, Vinny. I don't forget his stage name, but I know his name is Vinny. It was who else was on that joint? What's my man's name? It's escaping me. This brother's name. It's escaping me. Then the second one was Iron Emperor. I think Big Red was on that one as well. Then when there was his young brother, I forget his name, but I know he's done stuff for like Lyricist Lounge and stuff like that. Um, his name is escaping me. It'll come to me later. He was in that one, and then the challenge champions was Osiris, Rabbi Darkside, myself. It was my man Intikana. Big Red was in it, and what's the other brother's name? I think he's from Jersey. Forgive me if I'm wrong. He like Pop something Pop. What's his name? I don't know if you know these guys, but he's dang, I forgot his name. But
I wish we had Baxter here. He would
yeah,
totally probably be able
he would just
Yeah.
roll
probably
off
be
the.
able yeah
But
roll off the names.
oh man, what's his name? Anyway, I'm not gonna try to butcher it now. But all brilliant MCs, all amazing talents, all
Yeah,
super cool beings, and so that was a fun night. But that particular night, you know, again, you don't see yourself, right? So boom, competing, da 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 da, end up taking third, which was like in hindsight, I'm like, yeah, that's a W. Like coming in and competing on that level and taking, you know, and ranking for me is like that's a W. But at that night, I was like, dang, that's an L, right? And I was like, you know, tight, not at anybody else, but at myself and my own performance. And I remember walking out, even though there was mad love there, like I had a lot of friends and people there, like Homeboy saying, oh, there was a lot of people there. But and Zoo, brought me back on stage and like, like, honored me and showed me love. This has been crazy. But still, I walked out like with my head down, right? Like, yo, I took an L. I got washed. I bump into this dude right outside the door that I never met before in my life. No, I'm lying. I met him before, but we didn't know each other. We just kind of was in the same space once before. We learned that later. I bump into this dude and he starts talking to me. He's like, yo, man, that was amazing. Like, that was incredible. And then he starts talking about how certain things that I had shared in the rhymes resonated with him. Things about faith, things about family, things about marriage that nobody else was talking about on stage.
yeah.
Nobody. I was the only MC, and this is not no shade. This is just context.
No,
That
no,
was
yeah.
I was the only MC in any of the competitions that I was a part of that didn't curse, not once. Right, the only MC. And if you know anything about MCing, you know this is no shade. I'm just sharing context,
Yeah,
right?
no, you're just
It's easier to body somebody, right? Lyrically, when you're freestyling, they say something about like the gat, and it's easy to drop a F-bomb because it's a filler. It buys you time to think. You're not doing. You got a lot more words to try to figure out. So anyway, so this brother was like, "Yo, you got me thinking about faith differently. You got me thinking about God differently." He's like, yo, I'm dating this girl. You got me thinking about marriage differently. His brother's telling me outside the thing. And these are the things that
that's
matter to
dope.
me more than
Yeah,
anything else.
Yo, that
yeah.
is,
Right?
No, I
that's
mean
that's a huge win.
that's what that's what we do this for, right? Like
Wow.
essentially, is like for the people that are gonna hear us and are going to be able to appreciate your present journey in life. You know what I mean? And be able to be like, yo, that's where I'm about to be, or that's where I want to be, you know? So
that blew me away, because I'm like with my head down, I'm like, yo, and then so hear that, and me and my brother is still real close to this day. And that really blessed me and reminded me, you know, like, yo, nah, sometimes you don't recognize where the W is or how it's supposed to come to fruition, but it's there. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, I think like in music, like everything else, or like reflects life, right? So like they say, like, you know, in losses come like lessons, you know?
yeah,
So like there's nothing but like great that I've ever like gotten out of losses. Like it's like in the moment you feel
But
super down on
also,
yourself,
and
but then like it's so much like upward mobility from that, you know?
but it's also just
So
like a matter of perspective, right? Because like
mhm.
at the end of the day, I don't know, being third at the champion thing is pretty big.
Yeah, Challenge of Champions is like
I
you
can
took
guarantee
third
you
with
one
that.
thing. I ain't getting up there and winning that shit. It's not even coming close. It's not even a little bit close. So I bet, you know, if I was there and I came third, I'd be mad salty too. But the fact that, like, yo, the number of times that I think people can walk out and have moments like that is real different. Like, not everybody can say that their words impacted people like that.
Yeah, nah, I could tell you as an MC, right? Like where like I never participated in the MC challenge, right? Because like it's different than the skill set of like battle rapping, you know? And
yeah,
there's like you said, there's mentalities and right, like you being able to participate in the challenge and pull out of yourself the competitive MC that probably was dormant for quite some time, like
that's
that's something to be applauded. I can understand that. You know what I mean? Like that it's not easy to be able to turn that switch back on, you know? Like part of the reason why I don't participate in the MC challenge is because I let my freestyle blade get really dull, you know what I mean? And I just let it, I just let it be, I
right,
just felt like, oh, I'll be all right. Like the
right,
amount of sharpness that it has is just enough for all the things that I need to do. You know what I mean? And
right,
so, but like to participate in the challenge, like, nah, it has to be way sharper. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
And so like, but these are things that like, you know, should be applauded because it's not easy to walk out of not being in that like mindset and be able to compete and participate well enough that you were able to keep on continuing in the challenge. You know what I'm saying? Like that's super
Like,
bravo.
you're on the
yeah,
podium next to Osiris Anthem, who arguably is very talented and is praised
Yeah.
by all as everybody I've ever heard who said this guy's name has basically then followed up by he's the greatest in some capacity or another of
Right. Like
so
one
sure
of the greatest MCs,
he's number
Lupe
one, but
Fiasco was calling him that.
you're number three on a list with that guy.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's good company. I ain't mad at that.
Great
That's good.
company.
Like, I
That's
was
great
Yeah.
company.
listening to you rhyme in your musics, what I heard of it, and I was like, yo, that is really precise. Like, you really, and then you also have fun shit, serious shit. It's versatile. Like, you really, it makes sense how you'd be able to compete at that level, but also, you've been rapping since you were like 8. So, like, that's almost 3 decades. That's a three
Yeah,
decade run so far. That's like pretty fucking
yeah.
incredible.
Right on, man. Yeah, I appreciate that, man.
Yeah.
It's been a blessing, you know. It's been dope.
Super dope. So yeah, do you have anything that's coming out soon that you want to share with the people?
Yeah, man, a lot of things. One, I would you know, ask you guys to check out what we're doing with young people in schools and the hip hop program that I mentioned. And you could do that by visiting randymason.org/rhyme. or you could just go to IG, Rhyme NYC, or follow me at Randy Mason Music, whatever. But like reach out and ask about the Rhyme program, because that's really what, just something that I'm really excited about. We're expanding the team for the first time. So we just onboarded like, I don't know, 10 or so MC teaching artists, which is amazing to me. So like everything I've been doing for the past few years, like alone in rooms, like I've created, I'm working on developing those lesson plans and those curriculums and those units. So now other MC teaching artists can facilitate programs, you know what I'm saying? In other schools and everything. So that's been dope. And then musically, yeah, man, a lot of music that is out and that's coming out. I just dropped this song on my birthday. It's called Andrew's Grandson, named after my grandfather Andrew, rest in peace. The song features my big brother Wes, who I mentioned earlier, who inspired me to rhyme. And the song also features 2 of our cousins out in Chicago. So there's 4 Masons on the track, by way of 2 countries and 3 cities, right? So my brother lives in Sweden, my cousins are in Chicago, and then I'm in the Bronx. And so I'm really proud of that record. It's like a family flex, you know what I'm saying? It's my, and so it's called Grandson. We put that out last week. Got Theory Has It, cutting and scratching on it. And my man Gainsborough did the beat. And then, yeah, man, a couple joints. We got another, more music coming out. I think February 22nd or 23rd, got another record coming out. So yeah, just, I guess, hit me up and stay tuned, because, always sharing, art and putting things out, and, trying to be a good steward of the gifts I've been given. You know what I'm saying? I feel like God gave me, God, we all have gifts, you know what I'm saying? But I feel like, the gifts that God has given me, I want to steward them well. Like I don't want to, sit on them, and when I say gifts, I'm talking about MCing, but I'm also talking about, family and faith and all these things that I keep bringing up that I'm passionate about. Those are things that I've been exposed to and that have been super impactful in my life. And, I believe, like, to whom much is given, much is required. And so I'm just excited about sharing those things, because they've been given to me, right? Like, it's a gift is forgiven. So it's like, if I can MC, I want to MC. If I could mentor young people and teach the art of MCing, I want to do that. If I could share with people about my faith and my spirituality and my walk with God, I want to do that. If I could champion, marriage and like my brother said, men, from the hip hop culture and community honoring their wives and bigging up their wives, I want to do that. If I could promote and advertise fatherhood as something that's amazing, and something that does not have to be in conflict with music or with art, but can be it could be a holistic kind of a life. I want to do that. You know what I'm saying? I'm probably going on a rant now, but those are the things I'm excited about.
Nah.
So,
That's a great rant. Do you have a breakdancer that stood out to you over time?
Of all
that
time,
you're a fan of, like your favorite breakdancer?
Yo, well, first I gotta say this, because it's crazy that you asked me this question. I could almost cry right now, because I don't think anyone's ever asked me that question. And I really do have a passion for breaking, and I love breaking. And my boy Tony, who I grew up with, who is my neighbor, he taught me how to like top rock and 6-step when we were little kids on the street in front of his house. And he just passed away the other day. And so, the wake is on Sunday. And I was thinking about that. I'm like, yo, that's crazy. Tony taught me how to like top rock and 6-step, like in front of his crib on the street. And that was like the beginning of my fascination with breaking. Fast forward not fast forward, but to answer your question, that's a hard question, man. Good Lord. I would say, I'll say this. I don't know if this is answers the question well, but I'll say a B-boy by the name of Quick Step from the Bronx, who's an OG actually. And the reason that I'm so amazed by his gift and his talent is not only the dance, but that he's a master and incredible at the art of beat breaking, but that he's an amazing teacher and mentor as well. And he teaches a lot of. He has a like a dojo where you can go and break in the Bronx. And I spent some time with him, and he's just been super gracious. So I don't know if that's like you asked me like the most like amazing b-boy.
I mean, if those are the most amazing people to you, then that would be the correct answer to the question.
Yeah, I'm gonna go because now I'm going through like all of these like, oh my goodness, there's so many people who are crazy. I love breaking. I love like just watching and being around it. The energy is exhilarating. What drove me to say, yo, I want to learn, I want to train, because I always like play with it, whatever here and there, but I'm an MC. I'm not, you know what I'm saying? But I get so like moved by it that I'm like, yo, I gotta train because I can't keep this in all the time. Like I need to be able to just go ahead and get busy and then jump out the circle. So I'm actually gonna get back to that soon, man. Shout out to B-Boy Indio, Dynamic Rocker. Shout out to Kid Glide. Those are my people too. And they are also amazing B-boys and amazing teachers and mentors who do great work, man. Yeah, there's a lot of B-boys that I love. And B-girls. Shout out to Rockefeller, Mantis, and others. So yeah.
That's dope. I appreciate everything you shared with us. Honestly, shout out End of the Week for having us here, because without them this wouldn't be a thing, and I feel like it's always appropriate to give them, their props while we are here on their very channel doing this thing. Shout out you, Randy, for coming through and not only having such an incredible journey, but really just what you do is noble. Like, it's some noble things that you are up to, and I really just love it. It's all selfless. It's all like, yo, family first, and then let's go save the kids. I'm like, noble's the right word for that. I can't think of a more apt way to describe that. So I appreciate you sharing with that, because it's honestly like a pretty standout thing compared to all the usual music journeys that don't tend to be so noble with it.
Yo, man, I appreciate you guys having me on and giving me opportunity to share and to talk about these things. So EO Dub forever, Vice Versus forever. Yeah, man, I'm grateful for this opportunity.
Yeah, I just also had to thank everyone watching us live wherever you're watching us. Y'all are wonderful too. All the links will be in descriptions. And make sure to follow End of the Week EODub, EODUB.com. Go there. It's the easiest place to find all their stuff. That's their main website, EODub.com. On that note, yo, it was really great to have everyone here. And it was awesome, Randy. Even your outro was fire. It was a pleasure to meet you, Randy. And so I got nothing else on my end. So, yo, live long and prosper, everybody.
Peace.
Peace.
Peace.